Think you understand Python loops? These 15 practical challenges will test your for loops, while loops, nested logic, and problem-solving skills. Pause before each solution, write your own code, and see how many tasks you can solve. We will start with 3 fundamental loop patterns: accumulating values, counting matches, and iterating backward. These patterns appear frequently in Python interviews and production code. Running totals are useful when we need to combine values from sequential batches. We read n, initialize total to 0, and add each number from 1 through n. Now let's run the script with 5 and look at the output. Let's break down why this produces 15. Range includes 1 through 5 because its stop value is exclusive, so we use n plus 1. The total changes from 0 to 1, then 3, 6, 10, and finally 15. Now let's highlight the best way to express this pattern. Initialize the accumulator before the loop and use a clear name such as total. Apply this approach whenever one value must collect results across multiple iterations. Now try a small variation yourself. Change the loop so it adds only even numbers from 1 through n. Test your solution with n equal to 6. The result should be 12. Conditional counting can measure how many records satisfy an eligibility rule. We parse the input values, start a counter at 0, and increment it whenever a number is divisible by 2. Let's run the script with 3, 8, 11, 14, and 20. Let's examine the result. 8, 14, and 20 have a remainder of 0 when divided by 2, while 3 and 11 do not. The counter therefore reaches 3. Now let's show the cleaner counting pattern. Check the required rule directly and update the counter immediately when it matches. This avoids storing a second list that the program does not need. For practice, count values that are divisible by both 2 and 3. You can express that rule with 2 conditions or recognize that these values are multiples of 6. Test several matching and non-matching numbers. Backward traversal is useful for simple character transformations and encoded text processing. We start at the final valid index, move towards 0, and append each visited character to a new string. Now let's run the script with the word Python. Let's break down the 3 range arguments. The loop starts at the last character, stops after reaching index 0 and uses -1 as its step, that visits the characters in exactly the opposite order. Now let's focus on the best range for this exercise. Use the final valid index as the start and -1 as the exclusive stop, so index 0 is included. This pattern is appropriate when the task specifically requires backward index access. Now extend the idea by reversing each word separately while keeping the words in their original order. For the input Python loops, aim for NodeP spool without reversing the full sentence order. Think about splitting the text before applying the backward loop. Next, we will scan collections while tracking state. We will find the largest value and stop a search as soon as its first match appears. A running maximum can find the highest transaction amount without sorting every transaction. We initialize the maximum from the first input value, then replace it whenever a larger value appears. Let's run this with 12, 7, 31, 19, and 25. Let's trace why the result is 31. 12 starts as the current maximum, 7 does not replace it, and 31 does. Neither 19 nor 25 is larger, so 31 remains the final result. Now let's show the safe initialization strategy. Use the first real value instead of starting at 0, because an all negative input would make 0 incorrect. Apply this pattern whenever the collection is guaranteed to be non-empty. For the variation, track the smallest value at the same time as the largest. Initialize both variables from the first element and update them inside one loop. This should produce both results without sorting or scanning twice. A processing system may need the position of the first failed status rather than every failure. We use enumerate to receive each value with its 0-based index, and we keep -1 as the not found result. Let's run the search on 49297 with 9 as the target. Let's break down the search result. Index 0 contains 4, while index 1 contains the first 9, so the stored result becomes 1. The break statement ends the loop before the later 9 can be considered. Now let's highlight the efficient search pattern. Break immediately after finding the required first match, because further iterations cannot improve the answer. This matters most when scanning large collections or performing expensive checks. For practice, change the requirement from the first match to every match, remove the early break, create a list of indexes, and append each matching position. With the same data and target, your result should contain 1 and 3. We begin with controlled repetition, where a loop continues until the program receives acceptable data. An order cannot be created with a 0 or negative quantity. Let's read a number, keep asking while it is invalid, and update the value inside the loop. Now we run the script with -3, 0, and finally 6. Let's break down why this works. -3 and 0 satisfy the invalid condition, so the loop displays a warning and reads another value. 6 is positive, which ends the loop and produces the accepted message. Now let's highlight the safest version of this pattern. Write the condition so the invalid state is immediately clear, and make sure every iteration can change that state. Otherwise, the program can become trapped in an infinite loop. Try a small variation yourself. Update the condition so the program accepts only values from 1 through 100. Test it with 0, 101, and then a valid value. Next, we will aggregate and filter data in one pass by combining loops with dictionaries, sets, and lists. Survey data often needs a quick summary of how many times each answer appears. Let's split the input into words and update one dictionary entry per iteration. Now we run it with repeated color names and inspect the table. Let's break down the result. The first red creates a count of 1, and each later red increments the same entry. Because modern Python dictionaries preserve insertion order, the output follows the order red, blue, then green. Now let's show the cleanest update pattern for simple counters. The get method returns the existing count or 0 when the word has not appeared yet. Use this when you need compact frequency counting without a separate if statement. Try extending the solution so capitalization does not create separate entries. Normalize every word before updating the dictionary. For example, red, red, and red should produce one count of 3. Event streams often contain duplicates, but changing their order can change their priority. Let's track previously seen numbers in a set and append only new values to a result list. Now we run the script and confirm that only the first occurrence survives. Let's break down why the output remains ordered. The loop visits numbers from left to right, and the list receives a value only on its first appearance. The second 5 and second 3 are already in the set, so they are skipped. Now let's highlight the best structure for ordered deduplication. Use the set only for fast membership checks and the list only for ordered storage. This keeps the intent clear and avoids depending on set iteration order. Try a harder variation. Print only numbers that occur exactly once in the full input while preserving their order. You can first build a frequency table and then perform a second filtering pass. Finally, we will carry state between iterations to recognize groups and measure contiguous runs. Simple telemetry data can be compressed by replacing each consecutive group with a character and its count. Let's track the current character, increase its run length on a match, and store the group when the character changes. Now we run it with aabcc.a and inspect the encoded text. Let's break down the state changes. Matching characters increase the current count, while a different character closes the old group and starts a new one. That produces 3 A characters, 2 B characters, 4 C characters, 1 D, and 2 final A characters. Now let's show the detail that prevents a common missing output bug. A group is normally stored only when the next character is different, but the final group has no next character, appended explicitly after the loop whenever you use this pattern. Try reversing the process. Given a compact string such as a 3B2C4, rebuild the original text AAABKCC. Assume each count contains a single digit for this first version. A metrics dashboard may need the longest uninterrupted period of daily growth. Let's compare each value with the previous one, extend the current run on growth, and reset it when growth stops. Now we run the sample and find the longest run length. Let's break down why the answer is 4. The first increasing run is 2, 4, 7 with length 3. The later run 3, 5, 8, 9 reaches 4, so the maximum is updated before the final one resets the current length. Now let's highlight an important interview detail. This solution treats the run as strictly increasing, so equal neighboring values break it. Decide that rule before coding because changing greater than to greater than or equal produces different results. Try extending the algorithm to print the actual longest run as well as its length. Track the start index of the current run and save the winning boundaries whenever a new maximum appears. Now we will use nested loops to process rows, columns, and unique pairs. These patterns appear frequently in reports, grids, and interview problems. Multiplication grids are useful whenever report cells depend on both a row and a column value. We read the grid size, build one row at a time, and calculate its cells with an inner loop. Now we run the script with 3 and inspect the grid. Let us break down why this works. The outer loop selects the current row, and the inner loop visits every column in that row. For input 3, that produces exactly 9 multiplications arranged across 3 lines. Now let us show the cleaner formatting pattern. Building a complete row before printing it keeps output logic separate from the multiplication itself. Apply this approach when generating tables, text reports, or grid layouts. Now try a small variation yourself. Read separate row and column counts, then generate a rectangular multiplication grid. Test it with 2 rows and 4 columns. Pair sum searches can identify 2 expenses that exactly match a budget. We inspect each number against only the values that come after it, then print every pair matching the target. Now we run the code with the given list and a target of 9. Let us break down the index ranges. When the first index is 0, the second index begins at 1, so an element is never compared with itself. Because we only look to the right, a pair such as 2 and 7 cannot appear again as 7 and 2. Now let us highlight the safest nested loop range for unique pairs. Starting at first +1, remove self-comparisons and duplicate orderings without extra conditions. Use this pattern for pair comparisons where order does not matter. For practice, keep the same search but print both indexes beside each matching value pair. Then test a list containing repeated values. Think about whether 2 equal values at different indexes should count as a valid pair. Next, we will control several boundaries at the same time. This lets a loop traverse a 2-dimensional structure layer by layer without visiting cells twice. Spiral traversal appears in board processing and custom image scanning. We track the top, bottom, left, and right edges, visit one edge at a time, and then move that edge inward. Now we run the traversal and print the collected sequence. Let us break down the order. We move right across the top, down the right side, left across the bottom, and up the left side. Moving each completed boundary inward exposes the next smaller layer. Now let us show the checks that make this solution reliable. The bottom and left passes happen after other boundaries have already moved, so their ranges may no longer be valid. Recheck them before those passes to avoid visiting a center row or column twice. Now test the edge cases yourself. Run the algorithm with 1 row, then with 1 column, and confirm that every value appears exactly once. These cases quickly reveal missing boundary checks. The final challenges combine loops with sorting, state updates, and early termination. These are compact versions of patterns used in scheduling and constraint-solving systems. Interval merging can combine overlapping bookings or downtime windows. We sort the intervals by their starting value, then scan them while maintaining a list of merged ranges. Now we run the script and inspect the 2 combined intervals. Let us break down why sorting simplifies the loop. After sorting, an interval can only overlap the latest merged interval, so we compare their boundaries directly. The first 2 ranges become 1 through 6, and the final 2 become 8 through 12. Now let us show the cleanest structure for this algorithm. Sort once before the loop, then keep the loop focused only on appending or extending intervals. This separation makes the merge rule easier to verify and maintain. For practice, append 13 through 15 and then 11 through 14. Predict the result before running the code. Notice how the second new interval connects ranges that would otherwise remain separate? Constraint searches repeatedly test candidates until one satisfies every rule. Here we find the 0. Check candidates from 1 through 9 against the existing row and stop after the first valid value. Now we run the script and print the completed row. Let us break down the search. The validation loop rejects 1, 2, and 3 because they already exist in the row. 4 is absent, so it replaces 0, and break prevents unnecessary checks of the remaining candidates. Now let us show the structure that scales to harder puzzles. Keep validation inside a dedicated function, and stop candidate testing immediately after a solution is found. This makes it easier to add column or 3x3 box checks later. Now try the same algorithm with the row 5, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 0, 1, 2. Predict which candidates will be rejected before the valid value is found, then run the code and confirm that 9 fills the gap. You have completed all 15 Python loop challenges. Like the video, subscribe to Dev Level Up, and share your score in the comments. Tell us which Python topic or coding challenge you want to practice next.